Ever spent countless hours on a Photoshop project, wishing you knew the shortcuts to speed up your work? Welcome to Mastering Photoshop Basic Shortcuts. This tutorial is designed to guide you through the essential keyboard shortcuts that will boost your efficiency and ease in Adobe Photoshop. Whether you're just starting out or you've been editing for years, these shortcuts are your key to a smoother and quicker digital image editing experience. So stay with us as we dive into the world of Photoshop shortcuts. Starting with the basics, let's look at how to open, save, and close files. Whether you're working on a new project or editing an existing one, these shortcuts will be your best friends. The first shortcut we'll discuss is opening a file. Simply press Ctrl+O on a Windows system or Command+O on a Mac. Next, let's talk about saving your work. Ctrl+S or Command+S will do the trick. But what if you want to save a new version of your project without overwriting the original? That's where Save As comes into play. Use Ctrl+Shift+S or Command+Shift+S to open the Save As dialog box. Finally, to close a file when you're done working on it, use Ctrl+W or Command+W. Remember these shortcuts for opening, saving, and closing files. They will come in handy. Made a mistake? No problem. Let's look at how to undo and redo actions. In the realm of Photoshop, it's easy to take a step back or forward with a simple key press. The undo and redo shortcuts are your Photoshop lifelines, allowing you to easily correct mistakes or revisit previous steps. To undo an action, simply press Ctrl+Z if you're on a PC or Command+Z if you're using a Mac. This will take you back one step. But what if you've gone too far back and you want to redo an action? That's simple too. Press Ctrl+Shift+Z on a PC or Command+Shift+Z on a Mac. This will step you forward one action, essentially redoing your last undo. Remember, undo and redo shortcuts are your safety nets. Use them wisely. Selection is a key part of editing. Let's learn some shortcuts to make this process easier. The first shortcut we have here is the Select All feature. By simply pressing Ctrl+A on Windows or CMD+A on a Mac, you can select everything on your layer. But what if you want to deselect? Easy as pie. Just press Ctrl+D on Windows or CMD+D on a Mac. Now, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you need to select everything but what you've already selected, you have the invert selection shortcut. Press Ctrl+Shift+Y on Windows or CMD+Shift+I on a Mac, and voila, your selection is inverted. These selection shortcuts are truly handy tools to have in your Photoshop arsenal. Master these selection shortcuts to save time on your selection process. Remember, practice makes perfect, so don't hesitate to use these shortcuts as often as possible. Scene script. Layers are essential in Photoshop. Let's explore some shortcuts to manage them. Imagine a stack of transparencies, each with a different element painted. That's how layers work in Photoshop. They allow you to work on one element of an image without disturbing the others. Now let's get efficient with them, starting with the creation of a new layer. It's as simple as pressing Ctrl+Shift+N for Windows users and Command+Shift+N for the Mac users out there. A dialog box pops up, you name your layer, click OK, and voila, a fresh new layer ready for your creative touch. Next, let's duplicate a layer. This can be especially handy when you want to apply effects or changes to a copy of your layer, preserving the original. Just select the layer you wish to duplicate and press Ctrl+J on Windows or Command+J on a Mac. A new layer appears in your Layers panel, an identical twin of the original. Now what about merging layers? Let's say you've got multiple layers that you want to combine into one. Photoshop has a shortcut for that too. Select the layers you want to merge, and then press Ctrl+E on Windows or Command+E on a Mac. And there you have it. Your layers are now merged into one like a perfectly cooked pancake stack. These shortcuts not only save time but also allow you to maintain a smooth workflow, keeping your creative juices flowing without interruption. And that, my friends, is the beauty of mastering shortcuts. But remember, like any new skill, these will take some practice to embed into your muscle memory. So don't be disheartened if you find yourself reaching for that mouse at first. Just keep practicing and soon these shortcuts will become second nature. Remember these layer shortcuts to manage your layers more efficiently. And that wraps up our adventure into the world of Photoshop layer shortcuts. Stay tuned for more exciting shortcuts in the next scene. Until then, keep practicing and happy Photoshopping. Now let's move on to some tool shortcuts. As we delve deeper into Photoshop's realm, tools become our go-to companions, assisting us in executing our creative vision. Knowing the shortcuts for these tools can make our work significantly faster and more efficient. First up is the brush tool. This tool is a real workhorse used in everything from digital painting to photo retouching. To quickly select the brush tool, simply press the letter B on your keyboard. Just like that, you're ready to start painting or retouching your image. Next, we have the eraser tool, another vital instrument in your Photoshop toolkit. It allows you to remove unwanted parts of your image, making it a powerful tool for refining your work. To select the eraser tool, press the letter E on your keyboard. Moving on, let's talk about the zoom tool. This tool is indispensable when you need to work on fine details in your image. To select the zoom tool, press the letter Z on your keyboard. Now you can zoom in and out of your image with ease, focusing on the details that matter most. Last but not least, we have the hand tool. This tool is your navigation buddy. It helps you move around your image, especially when you're zoomed in and need to shift your view. To select the hand tool, press the letter H on your keyboard. Remember, mastering these shortcuts will not happen overnight. It takes practice, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be zipping around Photoshop like a pro. Utilizing these shortcuts will not only save you precious time, but will also make your design process smoother. The less you have to think about how to do something, the more you can concentrate on what you're doing. And in the world of design, that's where the magic happens. These tool shortcuts will help you switch between tools effortlessly. So keep practicing, keep exploring, and soon enough you'll be navigating Photoshop with the ease and efficiency of a seasoned pro. Navigation is key in large projects. Let's learn some shortcuts to make this easier. Efficient navigation in Adobe Photoshop can be a real game changer, especially when working on large projects. It's all about zooming in, zooming out, fitting your work on screen, and moving around your canvas with ease. First off, let's talk about zooming in and zooming out. Want to take a closer look at a specific area of your project? Simply press Ctrl and the plus key if you're on Windows, or Command and the plus key if you're on a Mac. To zoom back out, just swap that plus key for a minus key. Easy, right? But what if you want to see your entire project on your screen? There's a shortcut for that too. It's Ctrl and 0 for Windows users, or Command and 0 for our Mac friends. One simple keystroke combination and the entire scope of your project fits neatly on your screen. Now let's say you're using a tool but need to move around your project. Normally you'd have to switch to the hand tool, right? Not if you know this shortcut. Just hold down the space bar. While pressing it, you can navigate your canvas, even when you're in the middle of using another tool. Keep these navigation shortcuts in mind to move around your project with ease. With these tips, you're well on your way to mastering Photoshop navigation, making your creative process smoother and more efficient. We've covered a lot of ground today. From opening, saving, and closing files to undoing and redoing actions, we've walked through the key shortcuts that can expedite your Photoshop workflow. We delved into the world of selections, layers, brushes, and tools, each with their own handy shortcuts to streamline your work. Remember, the magic of Photoshop is not just in its vast capabilities, but also in how you can use it efficiently. That's where these shortcuts come into play. They are the building blocks of your productivity, enabling you to navigate the software's complex landscape with ease. Let's not forget about zooming and navigation. Those shortcuts are invaluable when you're deep into editing and need to move around your project swiftly. So there we are, a comprehensive guide to the basic shortcuts in Adobe Photoshop. Practice these shortcuts to become a more efficient Photoshop user. Thank you for watching and happy editing.